welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. Now, of course, here on Park City Television, we like to keep our community informed of all of the events and changes, especially those happening in our school district. And I am joined by our frequent friend and guest, Molly Miller from the Park City School District, as well as the principal of Treasure Mountain Middle School. We have Emily Sutherland. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. So we're talking about the grade realignment. We've seen this in the park record in the paper. People have been talking about it, but I want to make sure people understand what it is currently. So primary elementary schools in Park City right now are kindergarten through what? Through fifth grade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then kindergarten through fifth, then the middle school is what grades?
6th and 7th.
6th, 7th, and then who's in the high school?
Well, and then Treasure's 8, 9.
Then Treasure's 8, 9.
And then the high school's 10 through 12.
So I think that's something people don't realize, that the high school is 10 through 12.
Right.
Everyone assumes freshman to senior.
Right.
And I do want to add that a new addition to our elementary schools is preschool. So not only is it K through 5, it's pre-K of the little pumpkins all the way through 5th grade.
All the way to 5th grade.
Yes.
Okay.
So people don't realize that as well. So
that's some little people mixed in with some big people. So now let's talk about the realignment. What is the proposal?
So the middle school curriculum committee that was made up of administrators, teachers. We have over 300 years of public school experience. We did a bunch of research. We met. We talked about the different options. And based on curricular and programming needs, we came up with a recommendation that we should have an upper elementary school, which would be 5-6, a 5-6 configuration and a 7-8 configuration, and then the 9th grade, I think the community pretty much agrees should return to the high school. So again, high school would be 9 through 12. There would be a 7-8 middle school, and then a 5-6 sort of upper elementary school or intermediate school.
Okay. Now, talk to me a little bit about the research that shows why moving the 5th and 6th graders to their own unique environment is a good thing.
Well, I think that we did a lot of research on how adolescents learn, and we think that the benefit of having those two grades together, they learn so differently from the younger elementary grades, kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade. Really the needs of lower elementary and upper elementary are very, very different. And so I know that Tracy Evans, the principal at Ecker currently, is really excited about all of the opportunities and the things that she could do with a 5-6 configuration. With project-based learning and teaming and looping, a lot of hands-on relevancy things, and we are also really excited about the transition opportunity it would offer. So not moving kids right from elementary school to a secondary setting, which is kind of what is happening now, but instead moving them from an elementary to I'm using the word intermediate just for lack of a better word, moving them to an intermediate setting and then to a middle school and then to high school. It seems like a much gentler transition for students, and it would really benefit kids. And then the ability to focus on that age group, social emotional needs, curriculum, it's really exciting.
Well, and I was going to say, you touched on social and emotional. That 11, 12, 13, that is such a pivotal age where they are just going through so many changes, and to have a more isolated environment where they can be with their peers and you can address issues that specifically target what that means as they sort of go into young adulthood. That must be incredibly challenging to have with a 2nd grade class, in the same group. And I think especially now the community is so acutely aware of how important those years are.
Yes, and I think in fact I know that our elementary principals agree with this realignment. They understand that the needs of 5th and 6th graders are different from the needs of their younger students, and all of our elementary principals agree that this is a great configuration, and that 5th graders are really ready to move on to a more of an intermediate setting. So the ability to focus on 11 and 12-year-olds and then also on 13 and 14-year-olds at the middle school is just, I think, a really great opportunity. So
to me, this just logically makes sense, and I know you have the research behind it. To play devil's advocate, what is the opposition?
Well, I think some of the opposition I've heard is that parents feel really strongly about sending kids to a neighborhood school, and that's some of the opposition that we've heard. One of our arguments on that is that none of our schools except for McPolin are actually true neighborhood schools right now. That we have kids bust in from at every school. So we're not really taking anything away, we feel, from like a neighborhood school environment. I think that's a little bit of that we don't really have that structure in place right now. We've heard some arguments with like busing, like the length of time it might take to get 5th graders out to.
I mean, I'm sorry, I have to say that when you think about the environment you would create, the education and curriculum you could provide, commuting doesn't seem like it should be high on the list, right?
Right, and transportation is frequently a challenge for us as a city as a whole, but we are working with the transportation director to figure out the best way to configure the transportation, and it's a valid concern, and I think a lot of the concern that we're hearing about is an emotional reaction.
Sure.
People don't want to think about their 4th graders being, going to a separate school, but like you said earlier, a dedicated team to handle not only the social emotional needs, but their curriculum just outweighs, I think, and as people learn more about the middle level learner philosophy, they really come to realize that this is what's best for kids. This does provide the best educational environment for our kids. This allows us to continue our tradition of excellence. So this is also part of the foundation for our long-term vision.
Right.
As we move forward and maintain our reputation as the best in the state and as a nationally recognized school district.
As a nationally recognized district, and it does just seem to make sense.
Yeah.
So for people who want to get involved, I know that this is an open discussion among the community. The board wants to hear everybody's voices.
Yes. And the board is also going to be taking some steps to determine the timing for the realignment. There's a motion on the table to rescind the realignment for next fall.
For the 17-18 school year.
And it seems as if that will pass based on the support from the board members. And then the next step would be to implement a timeline for potentially the following fall.
Okay.
So community members can and should get involved. This is a really hot topic, obviously. There is a community meeting Thursday, February 16th. Starts at 6 p.m. at Ecker Hill Auditorium.
Okay.
The staff gets to have this meeting today, which is great. The staff, it's kind of incredible that I would say most of the staff is completely on board with realignment. The challenge is, when does it happen? How does it happen? Let's implement
the logistics.
a timeline.
Right.
Yes, that's always tough.
Yeah, and you can always email me with feedback and questions, concerns. I take it right to the team, mmiller@pcschools.us.
Emily, Molly, thank you so much for being
Thanks for
here. I
having
think
us.
a lot of times just different or change can sometimes be hard.
It's
but
hard, yeah. And we are
once
here to
the
guide
research
everybody
is here,
along.
I was
and
going to
yeah.
say, what an incredible support and community of educators that we have
Absolutely.
here.
Yeah.
We're lucky.
Yeah.
We're lucky.
Totally.
All right, thank you both. And
Thank
we
you.
hope that you will get involved in the board meeting so your voice can be heard. And of course, Molly Miller's inbox is always open. We're going to take a break here on the morning show and be back with Katie Wang, the executive director of Park City Film Series, to talk about this weekend's feature, Jackie, right after this.